I'm asking the question, could abortion be banned in the United States? And why does this issue arouse such passion? Why do people dedicate their lives either to providing abortion facilities or campaigning to shut them down? In this second programme, I'm examining abortion and American society. The programme producer Giles and I have been inside clinics with women seeking abortions and outside, standing with the protesters and sidewalk counsellors, urging each of them to keep their unborn child.
I came here today to get an abortion. The relationship I have with my significant other is we're not completely stable and we're not financially stable, and it's just a lot of stress that I'm going through, and I really don't think it's a good idea to bring a child into this situation.
19-year-old Jo is 8 weeks and 6 days pregnant. Giles spoke to her at the Whole Woman's Health Clinic in Fort Worth, Texas.
If you would have asked me a couple years before, I'd be totally against this. I was always against abortion. And whenever I found out I was pregnant, I was crying to my mom because I didn't know what I was going to do because of the situation I was in. And she asked me if I ever thought about abortion, and I was like, no. So she was like, well, it's not all that bad. It wouldn't be a good idea to bring a child into a broken relationship.
That's not all her parents did. They brought their teenage daughter over 300 miles that morning, leaving home at dawn, because all the clinics near to them have closed. That's a 600-mile round trip in a single day. To do that, Jo had to be very sure it was the right decision.
This is right for both me and the father of my child, because we're not in a stable relationship.
And do you mind me asking if the father of your child knows that you're here today?
No, he doesn't know.
Does he know that you're pregnant?
Yes, yeah, he knows I'm pregnant.
And do you think he'd agree with the decision that you've made?
No, him being the religious type, he would go the opposite way of what I'm doing. With the procedure I chose, it's really supposed to look like a natural miscarriage. So, and I've been going through a lot with a lot of stress, and stress can kind of cause you to miscarry. So I really was going to stick to that story.
Including with your significant other?
Yes. I mean, this was my decision, but it's not something that I want to flaunt about. And being in the town that I live in, everybody's so quick to judge you over things like that. And like it's just like a bunch of hypocrites. Like, it's bad that I'm getting an abortion, but it's totally fine for them to go out and do drugs. You know, like it's just living in a world of hypocrites.
The issue of shame came up again later that day with a second woman who didn't want to give us her name.
Me being here, I think some people will be very disappointed that I'm here. But do I really care? No, I really don't. But do I want to tell them? Absolutely not. Because I just don't feel like, I don't know. Shame is, I don't know. I can't describe it. But it's something that you shouldn't have to go through over here. I don't want to know their opinions. I don't care to know what they have to say, if that makes sense. Yeah, no, I don't care.
She said many of her friends had had abortions, but few of them would want to talk publicly. That mirrors the most recent national figures showing 1 in 4 women in the United States will have an abortion in their lifetime. If it's so common, why don't they want to talk about it?
It's because we're in the South and you're not supposed to do that. That's wrong. Yeah, we're taught that it's wrong. And it's shameful. But it's life. It's my choice and it's my decision. So you can't make me feel bad about a decision that I made. So that's why I don't really care. Like, I don't care if it was 100 people out there. You can't change my mind about something that I've made my mind up to do. Because at the end of the day, they're not going to help me raise this child, if that makes sense. They're not. And I'm sure those same people have brought their daughter here because their daughter wasn't married or something like that to cover up whatever.
Down in my soul that I can't contain, that I can't control. Some of the protesters recognise those arguments because they felt the same way and now regret it.
I am a post-abortive woman myself. I 30 years ago killed my only child.
We met Lynn outside a Planned Parenthood abortion clinic in Waco, Texas, and hers was one of many stories from people opposed to abortion about their abortions. It's one of the reasons they're now so dedicated to the pro-life cause.
It was an inconvenient time to have a child, so my husband and I had an abortion. The marriage didn't work out. I never could get pregnant again. I'm 63 years old. I should have great-grandchildren and grandchildren. I have nothing. The choice for abortion completely ruined my life, and I'm trying to help other women not to make the same decision, let them know that there's other options.
Frank, too, wanted to talk about abortion and to draw our attention to something else.
Why is Planned Parenthood right here? Why is it right here where the low-income housings are? Why? Because these people don't feel that those people live over there are worthy. That's why. Because they're black. Because they're Hispanic. That's why they're here. They're not in no rich neighborhoods. Why are they not in the rich neighborhoods? Why are they right here just in the poor neighborhoods? But look at all the people that are out here. How many blacks and Hispanics do you see out here trying to stop this? This one you're talking to. I'm the only one. And 50% of these babies that are being aborted are black. 50% of them. You know? So they want to talk about Holocaust. They want to talk about genocide. We have a genocide going on right here in America.
We met members of the Pro-Life Waco group gathered outside the clinic at 7:30 on a Wednesday morning on what the protesters call an abortion day, when a series of terminations is scheduled inside. You can hear from their voices what that means to them.
I'm very sad because I know that life is sacred. And when you're talking about taking the life of a person, it's very difficult. Now, we have friends here and we, share a little bit, but it's very disturbing. It's very hard. It's so emotionally draining. I'm just drained the rest of the day. Just knowing right now that there are 12 women in there who are thinking about letting someone take the life of that baby and thinking that that's going to end it. It's not. They may be able to stuff that emotion for a while, but it's going to rise up again. So we care about the babies, standing here for them, knowing that they're not going to die alone. But we're also here for the moms and the dads, because we care about them.
Generally, that was the spirit in which the protest was conducted, with around 20 people there at any given moment. But perhaps we shouldn't call it a protest. Many were there to persuade.
Hey, sweetheart, today's abortion day. I don't know if that's why you're here, hon. If it is, can we talk to you first? Listen, it's a baby. Already a very much alive baby.
Reverend Ronnie Holmes is a local pastor in Waco and a regular at the clinic on abortion days.
It's a 2-day process. Normally, here in Texas, there's a 24-hour waiting period. Then they come back 24 hours later and can actually kill the baby, have the abortion. Whether this girl is here, this is her second appointment or first, I don't have the record in front of me. If people are startled when you make that statement, do you know today's abortion day, then they're probably not here for an abortion, obviously. But probably about 50% of the time people lie to us. Obviously, it's a shameful thing if a mother's consenting to killing her child, unborn child. So a lot of times they'll say, oh, no, I'm not here for that. I'm here for abortion. The lady just went left, so it's just for abortion. So again, sad. However many that makes, 15 a day maybe. See, our goal isn't to in any way harass people. I do want to deter them from being here at all, but...
But do you think it might come across as harassment?
It may. If you were going to prohibit a robbery, it might sound like harassment to prevent somebody from doing that illegal or immoral act. I'm willing to pay that price.
If you're a teenager approaching those doors, like Joe coming to see a doctor, you could feel harassed, threatened, even scared. And we've spoken to women while making these programmes that have told us so. But Ronnie told us why he has to be there.
If people are dying in there, and they are, then we ought to act like it on the sidewalk. If this is a casual political issue, I can have a political argument. But that's not what it's about. It's about these babies and these moms.
We spent a lot of time with the Pro-Life Waco group outside the clinic and at their monthly gathering in the church hall. Everyone talked about love, about loving life, and about saving lives. That makes for some powerful storytelling and a sense of tremendous moral clarity.
So, let me give you this tour here. I make the sauce, and then we've got the pasta all cooked up in there, and then they'll cook it one at a time. But look at that. That's the sauce that my mother cooked for me for all many years on Sundays. And some meatballs that I did not make. Johnny, how are you? Hey.
John Pisciotta is the organiser behind Pro-Life Waco. Gathering his flock together on a Sunday, he's warm and charismatic. He's all about persuading people.
The meal is good. So that kind of attracts people that aren't necessarily totally revved up. But most of these people are involved in one way or another. And we got balloons that say, smile, your mom chose life, and we give a balloon to every kid. And of course, any kid always wants a balloon. But there's no joyful spirit on the other side. There's no celebratory spirit.
But we saw a steely side as well. Back outside the clinic, John describes how he plans to drive the abortion business and all those who support it out of Waco.
I was an economics professor for many years. And we have this little model in our mind that people make decisions based on cost-benefit analysis. What is my benefit? What is my cost? So, what I tried to do is those that are aligning themselves with Planned Parenthood, I try to raise their cost.
John fires off emails regularly, sometimes several times a week, to raise those costs. But even in this conservative part of Texas, he has quite a challenge. When we returned to Waco for our second visit 6 months later, Planned Parenthood had opened a new centre in a smart neighbourhood close to hospitals and easily reached on a freeway or a bus route.
So this is where the woman would have her services for an abortion, and you see we have the pass-throughs here with the lab in the center, and that just adds a level of confidentiality for the patient and professionalism for us as an organization in terms of our newest health center that we've built.
I wasn't particularly surprised to see that the facility is large, airy, welcoming. It is brand new. But I was surprised to be introduced to one member of Planned Parenthood's community board and to find that she's a woman of God. Dr. Leslie King is the pastor of Waco's First Presbyterian Church. Since so much opposition to abortion is voiced in religious terms, everyone we spoke to at Pro-Life Waco came to their activism that way. I was keen to find out, does Leslie wrestle with the morality of ending an unborn life?
I don't know a theological person that doesn't agonize, because the challenge to theology and faith is to live in the present moment and feel very connected to God. And fear is not the way to do that. For me, one of the principal convictions of my faith is that God alone is Lord of the conscience. God alone. And that women have the intelligence and wherewithal to make decisions in collaboration with people who do not have a fear-based agenda, but have an agenda of well-being.
You don't feel at all that as a community religious leader, you are one of the voices who can speak up for the unborn?
How is it that we easily separate the unborn from the mother? In this matter, I do not disagree with people who find themselves on the other side of the fence to me. I mean, it's quite a complex issue. So what I know is that every human being is dependent on the adults around it, and that every adult needs to be well cared for in order to extend care to an infant.
Our interview was emotional and nuanced. I was struck by Leslie's insistence that abortion is a complex issue, and struck by the fact that now I've had the time to spend hours hearing people talk about abortion, I have heard something about doubts and confusion, which I didn't in my years as a news correspondent here, focusing on headlines and on politics.
Women who come into the clinic are also afraid of their own capacity. They're not sure if it's the right place to be. They don't have communities of one mind around them when they come in. And so the intent of this place is not to coerce women quickly, but to honor them long enough that they can settle into a confidence that's appropriate for their circumstance. Planned Parenthood is not driving for abortions. It is not driving against God. It is not thumbing its nose and saying women can do whatever they want. Planned Parenthood says this is a safe place for women to come one at a time with their shaky bodies and their uncertain minds and settle in and listen to themselves and listen to healthcare providers and make decisions that are authentic.